Welcome along to this landlord interview, and I'm delighted to be joined by a landlord in the media spotlight. It's Cathy Colston, who was featured just earlier this week in the Telegraph. So welcome, Cathy.
Thank you.
Really inspiring to hear your story, and so refreshing that it was a very sensible and realistic approach to property investing. Just give us a little potted history of what you've achieved in 4 years.
Okay, well, my first taste of property investing came back in 2005 when I was still in full employment. My sister and I inherited a commercial property that my grandmother had a big maisonette above it, and we took the decision to convert that space into 3 one-bed flats, and it was quite a big project, I guess, to start off with, both of us still working and having to manage through quite an experienced team. But we did that conversion and created a product, I guess, that most of the people coming around to have a look were like, oh my God, this is fantastic. They let immediately to the first people that came round. So I guess we felt we'd done the right sort of thing from the customer's point of view. And that was our first, certainly my sister and I's first step into property investing. 4 years ago, my life changed in that I left my full-time job. I'd worked for Boots for 22 years, and the last 10 years of those years had been up in Nottingham, and I live in Bath, so I was kind of weekly commuting up there. I decided to kind of venture off and do something different, and went into property, which was something that I've always had a real passion for, and I nearly did when I was 18. I had kind of a choice to do 2 things, and I went down a different route, but I've come back to it. So my kind of type of property investing changed slightly then, in that my goal was to replace my income, because obviously I'd kind of left a job where I was being paid a reasonably decent salary, and now I had to make property work for me. So I spent quite a bit of time reading and learning and going on webinars and listening to various people talk about property, and built my knowledge really. And then made an investment of a single family house, which I let out quite well. And shortly after that, I decided to go into the HMO market.
Yes, that's quite an interesting decision, because it's a very specific strategy, a lot more sort of high maintenance, some would say. What prompted you to go down the HMO route?
I think it was cash flow mainly, in that as I said earlier, I was needing to live off what I was doing and replace my income. I recognised that from the market point of view that there was it was really difficult for young people to afford to buy flats. You know, they didn't want to live in student accommodation anymore, but they couldn't afford their own properties. So giving a really good product for people, where they could house share, was the route I decided to go down. It was, I don't think it's what I call a beginner strategy. It is quite complicated. You're dealing with a lot more rules and regulations and so on. And a guy who was mentoring me at the time, he said, why don't you go and have a chat with Steve Bolton?
And that's Platinum Property Partners.
Partners. So I kind of went off and had a chat with Steve Bolton and Platinum Property Partners, and after kind of a lot of due diligence, I decided to join that franchise, and changed my investment location, moved my investing nearer home, moved from student HMOs, which I've been doing previously, into professional ones. And have I'm building a portfolio of properties in kind of Bath and Bristol, with the support of the franchise and the people that work there.
Brilliant. Now you've got 9 properties, I understand.
I've got 9 HMOs.
9 HMOs. Go on.
Some commercial properties and some kind of one-bed flats. As I said, I converted a second commercial property and did the kind of flats above that space as well.
Right.
So,
and that's really taken you 4 years to replace your income. And I think the message in your Telegraph piece was very much to come at it from an informed and sustainable approach. And it's certainly not get rich quick, is it? Even though you did start with from quite a healthy position.
Yes, I was earning at the time we did our first project, but made the decision to leave my job and go into property. And I agree. I've learned so much, and I do really think it's really advisable to do loads of research and get as much support as you can as you step into the property market. It is a very, very different place to what it was now. It's so much more regulated. As I said, it's harder to get finance, and you've got to research all these things before you to make that very big step. These are huge investments that you're making, and I think you've got to make sure that every pound of money that you invest works hard for you, and that you do the right thing with it.
Absolutely. How would you, just to finish, Cathy, how would you sum up that PPP has supported you through this journey?
I think it has sort of changed my life in a way. I think stepping out of my job has changed my life, but this has sort of enhanced that, because not only has it helped me focus on the kind of professional HMOs that I'm currently investing in, but I'm also looking very differently around wealth in general. Things like my pension and my and legacy and things like that. I just think very differently about things that I sort of took for granted and were pretty passive about. I'm now much more proactive about the whole of my family and my legacy and my property portfolio and so on.
And essentially you are running a business now, and you've adopted the business mindset with the support of PPP and their network and support team.
Absolutely. I am running a business and I am employing people. I have people working for me in both of my investment locations, and I really value the power team experts that Platinum Property offers partners, because I think it really helps you jump forward and make kind of fast steps in a world where finding the right people to do business with is very difficult. A lot of people say to me, how do you find your solicitors, how do you find your accountants and so on, and I think there's a kind of tried and tested formula, and there's a really great powerful team of people associated with that business to help people be successful.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Cathy, at Property Tribes TV. And hopefully, if anybody out there has got any questions for Cathy, please feel free to add them to the thread, and Cathy will come back and answer them. And we can find out more about your property journey. And presumably, you're going to continue. Are you still in buying mode?
I'm still in buying mode. I've got some joint investors that are JV partners that are working with me, and so yeah, I am still investing mode. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, lovely speaking to you, Cathy. We've been speaking to Cathy Colston, landlord, and do ask any questions of Cathy on the thread, and I'm sure she'd be able to give a bit more insights into what she's going to be doing in the future. Thank you for watching.